For this week's Counseling 500 class, we were assigned 4 listening and intervention skill videos to assess. The first video explained the non-judgmental listening cycle, which was demonstrated in all of the videos. A listening cycle is what a counselor does at the beginning of working with a client, and it helps to develop a trusting and working relationship. 2 skills used during all the videos were invitational skills and reflecting. Invitational skills are using appropriate nonverbal cues, encouraging words and mannerisms, and asking open and closed questions. Reflecting skills are paraphrasing what's being heard, reflecting feelings, and reflecting meaning if that's possible. Counselors may need more time to set the stage before they can reflect a client's meaning, because meaning normally runs a little bit deeper than feelings. It can take a little bit longer to set the stage. One of the first things I noticed in each of the videos before a word was even spoken was the posture of the counselors. Each counselor sat facing the client in a relaxed position. Their arms and legs were not crossed, and they seemed welcoming. I also noticed that each counselor seemed to lean just slightly, as if they were set to really pay attention to what the client was going to say. Also, the counselors kept neutral facial expressions and maintained eye contact with the client. The eye contact was not a harsh stare, but a gentle or tender gaze. Again, this showed care. I also noticed that the counselors would occasionally nod their heads like this as the client shared their stories. At one point, when a client was showing distress over a car wreck, she even leaned over and just gently tapped the client on the arm. This gesture seemed appropriate at the time, and it seemed like it further connected the counselor and the client. Body language is not the only skill that counselors use to connect with their clients. They also use active listening skills to help. The counselors demonstrated how to ask open and closed-ended questions. Open-ended questions leave room for the client to elaborate on their stories. The counselors also demonstrated reflective questions, where they paraphrase what they heard the clients were saying. Questions like this help the client know that the counselor is listening and is on the right track. At one point during one of the videos, the counselor actually stopped the client to recap in his own words what they'd been discussing. The goal was to make sure that he understood the client's most important issue. In the video on reflecting feelings, I heard the counselor using words that would describe feelings when questions were asked. I could tell that he was helping the client because he was able to help her identify feelings like resentment, anger, and dissatisfaction. In the video about reflecting meaning, the counselor used invitational skills like paraphrasing and reflecting feelings, but it took a little bit longer to get to the underlying issues. In the video, the counselor even had to ask the client questions about his culture and his family of origin. While a little dated, I enjoyed watching each of these videos and observing how the counseling sessions unfolded. The counseling sessions went just as I expected them to go. I had the fortune of having a wonderful counselor that I worked with during my bachelor's degree program, during my internship, and she could have been any of the counselors in any of the videos. Also, my husband and I had several months of weekly marriage counseling. Both of these experiences allowed me to experience counseling firsthand, so I had a feeling of what counseling sessions would look like before ever watching a video. One thing I also discovered that is not in the video is that I am more excited now than ever to learn more and to become all that God created me to be. Thanks.